Hello and welcome to my Let's Play Pillars of Eternity 2 on Path of the Damned with Bera's blessings and on Super Evil and Cruel. I am Ayane Ranma and I'm going to play some sort of a Necromancer in this game. Also got the fitting t-shirt for it and the sign of Cyric, the skull on a black sun. So, in this game we try out, like, we are fucking assholes, we're fucking selfish, and we like cruelty. We enjoy the demise of others. Quickly, I have actually started another Let's Play too, and that other Let's Play, sadly, the video quality was kind of shitty. What I mean with that, I went with a very different path in that one, but what I mean with the quality was shitty, we had lag, so the recording sometimes froze. The audio is totally fine, you hear me talking all the time, you also hear the combat noises and everything, but sometimes you have like the start of a combat, the screen froze, and through all of the combat you have that same picture of me being like, and you hear me talking and combat in the background and stuff. So, if you like this Let's Play and still would like to more hear the other Let's Play, then I can upload the other Let's Play too. And of course, I found out what caused this. Therefore, this Let's Play will not have this issue. And the other Let's Play will only have it for like the first 6 episodes, and after that it should be fine too. But I don't want to replay the first 6 episodes because it's still like 3 hours of gameplay, maybe a little bit more. And especially the first 2 hours are not as interesting when you played the game already. So yeah, we keep going with this. If you like to have the other one too, write me in the comments and I'll upload them too. So now for this, we play of course on Path of the Damned. I want this to be hard, but we will still give us some starting benefits, which is more money. I want more money, so we can keep things going a bit more quickly. So I have to do less side quests and can focus more on the story parts, on the interesting combat stuff, and can get the better ship earlier. So yeah, it just speeds up the tedious things a bit more. Then I want this one, just a flat out attribute buff. It's kinda cheaty, but who cares? We're playing on hard after all, so it gives us a bit more options. And I especially want this, because it grants double the skill bonuses. That's really cool. This gives us way more dialogue options if we have higher skill bonus. And I really like to see many dialogue options, because often you need a very high skill to get something, and if you don't have that skill, well, you don't see that option. And if I have several high skills, I see all those options, so it doesn't feel like cheating, because sometimes I see the option and I'm like, well, now that I see it, I don't even want to go for it. So we will do that, and since we have some spare Barath points, I can actually check out. I'd like to see what this vendor has to offer us. I don't think that we will use it much because I'd rather save up the money for the big city of Nekotaka. So we will not do Trial of Iron because it means I will not do this stuff because just having just one save file is bullshit. If something corrupts the save file, the game is over. Also, being like one time dead, game over, I don't like that, because sometimes you have a lag or you do a misclick or something, and if you get punished for that, that's super harsh. I will also not do a level scaling. I mean, it makes the game harder, yes, but the point is, I could do critical path. Let's do critical path only, and only scale upwards, because question is of course what is the critical path, but the point is I don't want level scaling to be everywhere, because I'm fine with having some easier battles and some harder battles. I want that the battles that are supposed to be hard, for example a battle like against the Lich is supposed to be fucking damn hard, while the battle against just some robbers in a back alley is not supposed to be that hard. And if both are kind of the same difficulty, then that kills a bit of the immersion, and that's super important for me. So let's start the game. And as soon as we get into character creation, I can show you the way I build a Necromancer, because maybe some of you know that there is not actually a Necromancer class, and even with the multi-classing names there is no Necromancer. There are some classes that have skills that fit the theme of a Necromancer very well though. Whew, the loading times.
Ayora, a world where mortals live, die, and are reborn through the turning of the wheel. The cycle of reincarnation watched over by the gods, and made possible through pillars of a mystical substance known as Audra. 5 years ago, you traveled from your home to the Deerwood, a nation that had waged war against the incarnated god of light, Aethys, resulting in his destruction. The country suffered from a plague of hollowborn, infants born without souls, that many believed was punishment for killing a god. In an ancient, secluded ruin, you witnessed a secret ritual that inadvertently transformed you into a watcher, one who can see and speak with souls. The ritual also gave you horrible visions, waking nightmares of a past life that threatened your sanity. To put them to rest, you pursued the man who had led the ritual, a seemingly immortal agent of the gods, known as Theos Ix Arcanon. With divine assistance, you confronted and defeated Theos, ending your visions and resolving the Hollowborn crisis. In so doing, you also learned the great secret that Theos had protected, that the ancient empire of Anguith had transformed themselves into gods. Your visions finally put to rest, you retired to the castle of Cadnua, built atop a massive statue of pure Audra, where you ruled in relative peace and prosperity.
Cool. I will sometimes read the descriptions of stuff, and sometimes I'm just skipping it because it's too long and not relevant enough.
Made a nice story. You fixing up that old keep? And the curse. Must have told it 100 times. But something got to gnawing at me. Thinking the spirits there weren't really at rest. But maybe the gods.
See, the recording
weren't
software doesn't
finished
like
with
this. Has huge lags.
I used to dream that when my God came back, he would forgive us. That's the trouble with dreams. Sooner or later, we all have to wake up.
so you wake to a sleepless world, the in-between of life and death.
Here
Follow
it's
your
fine.
memories. You have been here.
No, it has slight lags as I notice. Let me quickly check the task manager and see what actually takes the most of it. So it's mostly pillars that takes a lot of computer power. Yeah. The other stuff, OBS is the one that takes the second most. I could close Discord, but Discord doesn't take much. Like 10%, not even off pillars. But yeah, let's close Discord. Really, can I? Wait a second. Windows doesn't let me tab out. No. I usually kill Discord. Oh, now it works. Good. Oh, you can do that. Okay, graphics. I will turn that stuff down a bit to medium. Really? It did do that just this way? Let's actually, I know shadows. We don't want high quality shadows. Low quality shadows are just fine. I think that should, yes, that should help us. I'm not sure if it already takes effect.
You have seen past the shroud. You are a watcher now, and a watcher you will stay.
I'm not sure if it already takes effect or if I have to restart the game.
Watcher sees souls, knows their pasts, and the souls see them back.
Or maybe just change the setting again. I mean, location.
A dubious honor, inheriting a fortress both broken and cursed.
Because it's super frustrating when you record so much.
What is a god? A higher power? A rewarder of good deeds and punisher of the wicked?
And then you even check the recording. Of course you don't watch the whole
Gods
video.
aren't real, but something else entirely. Something created by people.
But you just skip through it a bit, and all the parts you've seen in the first episode were fine. So
And
you
did
think,
you
yeah,
ever
it's
consider
going
that these
fine.
were things you were never meant to understand? That their comprehension is beyond you?
Then later, when you have already recorded for 3 hours, you realize, oh, the recording
world
wasn't
see.
fine after all.
Let them decide what to do.
That's super frustrating. So I want to keep here a bit of attention. Like reducing graphics, turning down other stuff. We will see. It should work now better. If it's good enough, I'm not sure yet. We will see. Because the best test is an actual combat. And we probably won't have that in the first episode. Maybe that was the mistake. I tested it on the first episode and was like, yeah, everything is working fine. And then in the second episode happened lots of combat and lots of freezing. But yeah, character creation is ahead. And I already know what I want to do so, because I usually take a lot of time to create my characters. I'm one of these persons that sits like 2 hours on just character creations.
An aged dwarf shares this strange floating platform with you. His face is creased by so many wrinkles that his features lie buried amid shadowy pockets of skin. Still, the dwarf's well-practiced habits have left telltale tracks of a welcoming rictus across his visage. You can see his smile coming before it blooms, reshaping the dwarf's face from a hanging sack of flesh into something resembling an oddly carved Mary gourd replete with unhealthy bumps and discolored splotches.
Sit. Please.
If you want me to go through character creation in more detail and explain like the classes or how certain mechanics works, what attributes are recommendable for what class and stuff, if you want me to make like a tutorial video on character creation, and tell me in the comments and I will gladly do that. But of course only if people want to have that.
Thank you for joining us, Watcher of Cadnua.
The gaunt woman seated at the table is clad in time-worn black armor that seems too massive for her to move in. A pale, slender neck rises from the gorget, topped by a hollow face. The milky skin stretched across it is delicate and translucent, like parchment that has been scraped clean too many times.
The recording froze again. Okay, let's give it some time.
She's preoccupied with the arrangement of cards on the table between you. With each movement, her armor squeaks and groans as though bearing an incredible weight. She places a final card, gives a nod of satisfaction, and raises her eyes to meet yours.
Now it's back again, but it froze immediately again. I wonder if it doesn't like this effect or something, the effect around our character. Because this should not be
Your
a
brush with the
cause.
divine has drained you of your powers, fractured your memories. Look upon these cards. They represent the courses of your life. You alone know best how they flowed. Arrange them to fit what you remember.
Okay, now it works. Let's see. Does it lags occasionally, which is fine, but no, it lags too much. But let's choose Selfish Cruelty Beyond Death. That's one I made customly, and in the next video I will actually explain what choices I made, or I will show how I created that. So we use that.
Does everything appear to be in order?
Yes.
Good. Welcome to the Beyond. I am Berath. One half, anyway.
She points a finger in the direction of the dwarf who led you here. Though the movement is slight, her gauntlet squeaks like a rusty hinge.
It lags constantly, it can't be. It's just... Yeah, my CPU is completely at 100%. I mean, it's only the recording that has lags. The game itself doesn't lag.
The dwarf's rictus returns as he nods in the woman's direction.
I never had lags
Tell
while
me,
playing.
do you remember when we last met?
Yes, in the Hall of Stars, Twin Elms.
You came to that tower seeking our aid. You prayed for help in reaching Theos, beyond the Court of Penitence, but would not pledge yourself to me. Still, a pledge unmade stands fairer in this court than a pledge broken.
Yeah, my main game I did pledge to Berath, but then went for Hilea. I think I pledged for both, for Hilea and Berath.
She places a card in the middle of the arrangement. A bell tower with no bell. Her fingertips slowly drag away from the card, faintly creaking as they retreat across the table.
A bell tower with no bell, so it's a no bell tower. Oh god, I should
You
say.
had need of the gods once before. Now it seems we have need of you. The being that occupied Odnua's statue beneath your castle was the dead god, Aothus. Of this we are certain. What we do not know is what his intentions are. Though Aothus stole a large fragment of your soul, You were strong enough to survive the onslaught and enter the in-between. You and he are still connected. He has chosen a body made of living Audra, perfused with the power of thousands of souls, including yours. It should be little difficulty for an experienced watcher to find him.
It annoys me so much that it constantly freezes still again and there's lags, even though the screen is still. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening, but I need to try and restart the game and maybe lower the resolution. Maybe that helps for the recording, because the game is running fine, it's just the recording that freezes. And I don't understand why. It just says high encoding CPU usage, consider turning down settings. Yeah, which settings? I'm not an expert on stuff like this. But let's continue, I'll just read out what we have. Why don't you just do it yourself?
Taking a physical form in Ayora is fraught with peril. Most mortal minds and bodies are incapable of containing divine power. It can lead to problems, as Aethys learned not long ago.
Her armored hand gingerly places a card sideways on the table. It features a man with a burst of light instead of a head.
I've had enough of dealing with the gods. All of you. Why should I care about any of this?
Did you care for the souls of the Deerwood who clung to you as they stumbled blindly through the in-between? You are a beacon to all of the lost, Watcher. Your soul gleams as brightly to them as Audra itself.
For a moment, there is a glint in the blackness of her eyes. A flash of wondrous recollection.
Those who have fallen in Aethys' wake are trapped inside him still. If you will not help them, who will? Of course, if that doesn't convince you, I can always return you to the wheel and find someone else to pursue him.
Fine, then let's get on with it.
Good. Before you return to Ayora as my herald, you must remember who you were, the last whisper of life in death.
For a moment, the sockets of her eyes darken, leaving the pits of a death's head gazing out at you.
When you can picture your own face, the Beyond will lead you back to your own kind, to the world of mortals.
Wow, it stopped freezing. Oh yeah, because the game also was loading. So, character creations should work, right? Yes, character creation is again some issues, but it works better. So, I tell you what, we will finish the character creation, and then as soon as we've done that, we will save the game, and I will try out at the end of the episode and try out some things, and the next episode should work, because I don't want another Let's Play that starts with frozen screens. Now that you've seen how it freezes sometimes, you can imagine how the first few episodes are of the other Let's Play I started. So if you still find, oh no, it's fine, I want to hear what decisions you made, what you went for, what you had to say, and tell me and I'll upload it anyway.